If she does this, she's not avoiding you. She's scared of falling for you. And to understand this clearly, you must remove emotion, ego, and fantasy. Because as Marcus Aurelius taught, most human behavior is not driven by clear intention, but by unresolved inner conflict. And when a woman begins to feel something real, something that threatens her emotional balance and challenges the structure she has built to protect herself, her mind does not move forward calmly and confidently. It hesitates, it questions, it resists, and often it retreats, not because she dislikes you or has lost interest, but because attachment awakens fear, and fear is the strongest guardian of the heart, especially for someone who has learned that emotional control equals safety. So the first pattern you must recognize is emotional withdrawal after moments of closeness, times when connection feels deep, natural, effortless, when conversation flows, energy aligns, and intimacy, emotional or intellectual, feels present, followed unexpectedly by distance, silence, delayed replies, or a subtle cooling of tone. And this shift confuses most men because they interpret it as rejection or disinterest. But in many cases it is the opposite, because closeness creates vulnerability, and vulnerability feels dangerous to a mind that prioritizes self-protection. And Marcus Aurelius reminds us that people flee not from harm itself, but from their judgment of harm, so her withdrawal is not about you personally, but about the meaning her mind assigns to growing feelings, the fear of losing independence, the fear of being hurt, the fear of needing someone, the fear of surrendering control, and these fears activate the instinct to pull back in order to restore emotional order. The second pattern is inconsistency, warmth followed by coldness, enthusiasm followed by restraint, attention followed by absence, openness followed by guardedness, and this inconsistency is often mistaken for games or manipulation. But more often it is inner division, because part of her wants closeness while another part urges caution. And the Stoics understood that a divided mind cannot act steadily, so her behavior reflects an unresolved internal struggle between desire and self-defense, and the more meaningful you become to her, the stronger this conflict grows, because what truly matters has the power to disturb emotional equilibrium. The third pattern is heightened awareness without expression. She notices small details about you, remembers things you said casually, observes your habits, your moods, your tone, your energy, yet rarely verbalizes her feelings or intentions, because acknowledgement makes emotions real, and once feelings are real, they demand action, risk, and vulnerability, and silence becomes a shield, a way to feel without committing. And Marcus Aurelius warned that people often hide truth, not because they do not know it, but because knowing it requires courage. The fourth pattern is emotional testing. Subtle questions, indirect reactions, moments where she creates mild distance or ambiguity and watches how you respond, not consciously playing games, but subconsciously searching for safety. Because when someone fears falling, they want proof that the ground beneath them is stable, and she observes whether you become needy, reactive, insecure, angry, or whether you remain calm, grounded, and self-contained, because stability communicates safety more clearly than words ever could. The fifth pattern is resistance to labels and clarity, avoiding conversations about direction, definition, or future, not because she wants confusion, but because clarity turns feelings into responsibility, and responsibility removes the illusion of control. And as Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul resists what demands transformation. The sixth pattern is self-sabotage, creating unnecessary conflicts, misinterpreting neutral actions, focusing on minor flaws, or pulling away just when things feel right, because fear seeks justification, and the mind often invents problems to avoid confronting desire. And this is why many connections fail not due to incompatibility, but due to fear of attachment. So the Stoic response to all of this is not pursuit, pressure, reassurance, or explanation, because force creates resistance, and Marcus Aurelius taught that what is forced is rarely stable. Instead, the correct posture is steadiness, emotional discipline, patience, and self-respect, remaining consistent without chasing, present without clinging, warm without demanding. Because calm confidence communicates safety without effort, and safety is what fear responds to, you must understand that you cannot argue someone out of fear, you cannot reason someone into emotional readiness, and you cannot rush courage. You can only control your own conduct, your restraint, your integrity, your reactions, and this is where most men fail because they try to secure certainty instead of embodying strength. But Stoic wisdom reminds us that attachment grows where there is freedom, not pressure, and that the strongest influence is example, not persuasion. So if she pulls back, you do not collapse inward or chase outward, you remain centered, because desperation confirms her fear, and calm presence dissolves it. And if she oscillates between closeness and distance, you do not punish inconsistency or reward unpredictability. You simply remain stable, because stability is rare and deeply reassuring. And Marcus Aurelius reminds us that character is fate, and how you respond to uncertainty often determines the outcome more than her behavior itself. And understand this clearly, fear does not mean incapacity for love. It means the capacity exists, but courage has not yet caught up, and courage cannot be demanded, only inspired. So your role is not to convince her, rescue her, or wait endlessly. Your role is to remain aligned with your values, are grounded in self-respect, emotionally self-governed, and willing to walk away without resentment if necessary, because the ultimate Stoic truth is that attachment without self-mastery becomes suffering, and connection without freedom becomes fear, and if she is meant to move forward, it will be because your presence felt safe, steady, and unthreatening, not because your words were persuasive, and if she does not, you lose nothing of value, because as Marcus Aurelius taught, what does not align with your nature cannot harm you, and the man who governs himself is never at the mercy of another person's fear. So do not ask why she hesitates. Ask instead whether you are standing firm in who you are, because fear cannot be cured by pursuit, only by safety, and safety is created by strength, patience, and self-respect. And as Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the man who stands unmoved by uncertainty is already victorious.